This month we're going to tell you about one of the most common parts that we fit on Nissan Figaros. That's the steering rack. Due to the age of them, the rubber seals start to perish, and it's massively common that they start to leak fluid and don't reseal. So we've got our steering rack that we're going to fit into the car. The steering rack's one that we've built here at the Figaro Shop. You can see here the reconditioned part. We've basically changed the pinion seal in the top, changed the pinion seal inside the steering rack as well, which is something that you can't do while the rack is in situ. We've stripped it, chemical cleaned it, painted it. We've also taken it apart and taken out the play. So in the steering rack they do have play, and that can be reset. We've put on new steering arms, new steering gaiters, and also repainted it. So you can see the part here, and it's ready to go into the car. The first thing we need to do for access is take away the inner dirt shield you can see here, and also the belt cover. Now what we've done on this job is taken all the belts out already to avoid you having to watch us for 3 hours taking it apart. So you can see here, for access we've removed those two covers. The next major part to remove is the drive shaft. You can see here it being pulled out. There's a hub nut on one end, and the gearbox end it just pulls out. You can see it's out. We've got full access to at least start undoing bolts. Following this, you can see we're removing the wishbone on the bottom of the hub, just swinging it down out of the way, and then we're removing the tie rod end, top of the hub, just lifting it out of the way. You can see now that the hub is only joined on by the shock absorber and can be moved, manipulated and moved so that we can get in to do the work. The next part is one of the most fiddly, and that's removing the main rear engine mount from the car. It has about 8 bolts holding it in, but you can see here we've just left the last one in a couple of turns, and even with nothing joined on, it's still quite a battle to pull it out from between the gearbox and the steering rack. But with it in, you can't get the steering rack out. You can see it here, removed from the car. Following the engine mount, it's time to get the rack out. We've removed all of the bolts already. You can see us pointing here to the fixing points, and we've also removed the main pinion joint. That's the bit from the steering wheel down. It's still a fight to get it out. You can see we have to move it all the way to the near side of the car, through the chassis leg, wiggle it around, and then bring it back towards the driver's side of the car, between the sump and the chassis leg, to actually get it out. Here's the old steering rack. It's been leaking and caused MOT fail points. Here's the old one, ready to be refurbished. The rack will be tested, and if it's too far gone, it will be disposed of. If it's good enough, it will be refurbished and used again. So we've done everything in reverse. Here's the new rack fitted into the car. And as you can see, not only does it look nice and it's safe, but more importantly, when they're leaking, you can cause damage to the power steering pump. And the most scary thing of all, the steering can become really heavy suddenly if you lose all the fluid. A new steering rack's a good investment when it's starting to leak.